watched a movie and I really didn't like it. It's called Keeper by Osgood Perkins, and I think this might be my first Osgood Perkins movie. I know he did Long Legs and The Monkey, but I didn't see those, and I didn't really know what to expect from this movie because the trailers didn't look that interesting, and I also don't have experience with this director. Um, but I ended up seeing Keeper because I thought, well, I don't know. I don't really have anything else to watch. Why not? And I really didn't like it. Um, it's not to say there weren't some things that I liked about it, because there were. I liked the cinematography. I thought the movie itself looked really nice. I like these horror movies that take place in one location. I thought that they use the location effectively for the um, underlying suspense that they were trying to, and underlying tension that they were trying to bring up. I don't think it was handled the best in the third act, but I like these kind of horror movies like The Lighthouse, or like The Shining, or The Thing. It's also a great example. Alien. These kinds of horror movies where it takes place in one location, but the characters are slowly shifting psychologically, and it ends up being like it ends up with a really interesting third act that brings it all together, because you feel the tension building up throughout the movie and you hope for some kind of release in the third act. I think the third act of this movie was really lame and terrible. I don't want to spoil it, but by the end of the third act, I was left feeling very. And after I watched this movie, I was left feeling very underwhelmed. The movie, for the most part, really nothing happens, and normally in movies, I don't really mind if it's a slow-paced movie that's trying to build up to a release. Like I mentioned, some of my favorite horror movies have that kind of structure, but the difference is you feel the tension building throughout the movie through little plants and little seeds that are being planted for future events. In this movie, I think the third act comes out of left field, and it's a little unsatisfying because for most of the movie I was really bored, and I thought it was just, oh, I didn't get enough sleep or whatever, but the movie was just very boring. It looks nice, like I mentioned, but the filmmaking is not the only thing that I need. There needs to be something else behind it to make it a little more interesting, you know? I also think the performances, for the most part, were really good. There were two leads, and, they pretty much carried the whole movie, so I thought they did good. They did pretty well. Mainly, one lead. She did a pretty great job, but her character was a little weak. She was very one note, and I didn't really care about what happened to her. Um, and the dude, he was just he was just awkward and weird. And I know it's intentional to, I know, I know it's intentional, but um, that still doesn't make him a creepy character, because you really don't know anything about him, and he doesn't do anything to make you unsettled by him. You know, an example of what I'm talking about when it comes to unsettling characters that are also awkward and strange, would be Norman Bates from Psycho. He's socially awkward and he's weird, but he's also very unsettling, even in his presence. Like anytime he's on screen, yes, he's an awkward guy. He seems like an awkward guy, but he's also very unsettling to watch, because you really don't know much about him, but he still gives like a presence that he's a disturbed individual. In this movie, the dude, um, he was just awkward and weird. he didn't give any hints that he's a disturbed individual or whatever. He was just weird. And then the third act happens and something is revealed. I'm not gonna spoil once again, but it just left me unsatisfied, honestly, because I was really interested in what this movie had to offer, because I thought the beginning was really well edited and I really liked the track that was used. I thought that was an effective use of horror. I like the editing. I thought the editing was pretty good all throughout, but man, was this movie just a complete miss for me. Um, which is which kind of sucks, because I heard that Longlegs was decent, and I heard the monkey was a mixed. I heard mixed response from the monkey, but but yeah, this movie I just really didn't like. Also, something else that kind of took me out was the fact that it was the score. I wasn't really that huge on the score. It wasn't used often, but I didn't really like it at all. Um, yeah, I mean, there really isn't much to say about this movie. It's just very boring, and I feel like these are the worst kind of horror movies to talk about, or the worst kind of movies in general to talk about. Ones that I have pretty much nothing interesting or unique to say about them, and they're just very boring to talk about. Like, I'm forgetting this movie as I'm talking about it. That's how, like, boring it was. Um, I don't know if I want to check out Longlegs or The Monkey after seeing this, but if they're better than what this movie had to offer, or if they're worse than what this movie had to offer, then I don't know. Basically, what I want to say is that this movie sucked, and it makes me less interested to see his other movies, even if I heard those are a lot better. Um, so yeah, if I had to give a score for this movie, I'd have to give it like a 3 out of 10. I was just very bored, and it was a little disappointing, because this is from a director who I've heard nothing but praise for like his other two movies. Even The Monkey, which I heard mixed reception. I heard people like the filmmaking in that movie, and I heard the filmmaking in Longlegs was also good, which was also mixed, but not as mixed as I heard for The Monkey. Um, so yeah, this movie was just not very good. I didn't really like it. I respected the filmmaking. I respected the fact that it was trying a bit more than the average horror movie. It's not like a studio Blumhouse horror movie where it seems like no one was trying. I think this movie was trying to do something a little more artsy and metaphorical and thoughtful, but I think it just fell flat completely, because it was just not interesting. Like, there was no hook almost to the movie. It was like, I was intrigued, but not because of anything the movie had to offer necessarily, from like a plot plot wise and hook wise or whatever. It was more so because I wanted to see what this director um would basically. I wanted to see a little taste of this director, since I haven't seen The Monkey or Longlegs, and this movie was just unsatisfying, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I was very disappointed with this movie, honestly. So yeah, see ya.